He wasn't born in the concrete canyons of New York City, but in the vibrant heart of Kampala, Uganda. A land of dazzling color and ancient stories, yet a place marked by the shadows of migration and loss. His name is Zohran Mamdani. He is the son of two intellectual giants, his father, the renowned scholar Mahmoud Mamdani, and his mother, Mira Nair, the celebrated director behind films like Monsoon Wedding and The Namesake. Born in 1991, Zohran's life wasn't one of simple privilege. It was a world woven with questions of identity and belonging. Long before his birth, his family had known true hardship. His grandparents were forced to flee Uganda during a period of political expulsion, leaving nearly everything behind. Years later, his father returned, rebuilding a life from scratch. This legacy taught Zohran a profound lesson. Home isn't just a place on a map. It's something you build and rebuild, again and again. In the mid-1990s, his family moved once more, first to South Africa, and then, at the age of 7, across the ocean to New York City. Can you imagine being a young boy with a different accent, in a crowded classroom where everyone speaks a mile a minute? The slang, the rhythm, the relentless rush. It was all new, but New York also offered something incredible. A mosaic of humanity, people from every corner of the globe, all searching for a place to belong. Growing up in Astoria, Queens, Zohran saw the two faces of the city. One side was the glittering skyline, a beacon of ambition. The other side was the quiet struggle of taxi drivers sleeping in their cars, of families juggling multiple jobs, and of neighbors constantly worried about making rent. It was in the space between these two worlds that his understanding of fairness, opportunity, and the power of a single voice began to take shape. He earned a coveted spot at the Bronx High School of Science, a crucible for future leaders and innovators. Yet, even there, he often felt like an outsider, surrounded by classmates from more affluent backgrounds. He would later reflect, "I realized early that intelligence isn't what divides people. It's access and opportunity." In 2009, he attended Bowdoin College in Maine, a quiet liberal arts campus that would crystallize his life's purpose. Majoring in Africana studies, he delved into the deep connections between history, inequality, and resilience. He learned that history isn't just written in textbooks. It's alive in the choices people make every single day. At Bowdoin, he wasn't a loud activist, but a thoughtful and persistent one. His professors remember him as quietly convincing. After graduation, while many of his peers chased corporate careers, Zohran returned to Queens. He took a job as a housing counselor, helping tenants understand their rights and fight to stay in their homes. Seeing families lose everything to skyrocketing rents left a permanent mark on him, quietly fueling the mission that would soon define his future. The year 2016 was a turning point. A new wave of youth activism was sweeping the nation, demanding fairness and accountability. Zohran felt an undeniable pull toward this movement. He began organizing gatherings in Astoria, standing with workers, neighbors, and small business owners. He wasn't there to talk. He was there to listen to their worries, their hopes, their frustrations. This wasn't about seeking the spotlight. It was about seeking justice. As he once said, leadership isn't a title. It's a responsibility to those who rarely get heard. That conviction was about to push him toward his most audacious step yet. By 2019, New York's political landscape was shifting. Young, progressive challengers were taking on long-established incumbents and winning. Zohran saw a path forward. If his community wanted real representation, someone from within that community had to step up. The local assembly seat in his district had been held by the same person for years. Most people thought a newcomer had no chance. But Zohran decided to run. Friends warned him it was impossible. He had no major funding, no media buzz, no powerful endorsements. What he did have was something far more valuable: the trust of ordinary people. Through the cold winter, he went door to door, speaking with shopkeepers, delivery drivers, and parents waiting at bus stops. His message was simple and direct: affordable homes, better public transit, and dignity for working people. No slick campaign slogans, just raw authenticity. His campaign was small, but it had immense heart. Volunteers came from local coffee shops, schools, and apartment buildings. They printed flyers on borrowed printers and held strategy meetings in living rooms. At one community event, he declared, "We're not just hoping for one seat in an office. We're trying to make space for everyone who has been left out of the conversation." That message caught fire. Delivery riders, educators, retirees, people who had never felt inspired to vote before, started showing up. A new energy coursed through the streets of Astoria. The mainstream media initially ignored him, but when the votes were counted, the result was a political earthquake. Against all odds, Zohran Mamdani had won. A first-time candidate had defeated a powerful incumbent. It was a stunning victory, a clear sign that hope and unity could truly bring about change. Headlines called it a new dawn in local politics. For the people of Queens, it felt like their collective voice had finally been heard. Once sworn into office, Zohran didn't waste a moment. He immediately began pushing for fairer housing laws, improved public transit, and stronger protections for working families. He wasn't just a politician in an office. He was an activist on the streets. He marched with his community, stood shoulder to shoulder with delivery riders demanding safer conditions, and met with tenants facing eviction. He famously rejected corporate donations, choosing to rely on the trust of the public instead. Some of his colleagues called him too idealistic. Others admired his unwavering sincerity. But for the neighborhoods that elected him, he was living proof that empathy could still be a powerful force in leadership. He once reflected, "My mother taught me to see the world through stories. My father taught me to question those stories. That is why I believe leadership is both the story we tell together and the change we decide to write." As his work gained traction, whispers began to spread. Could he one day lead the entire city? He would often smile at the question, always steering the conversation back to the people he served. But deep down, the idea of a broader mission was taking root. Then, in 2024, he made another bold announcement. He was running for mayor of New York City. Many scoffed. He was too young, they said, too new, too unconventional. But those were the exact same words they had used before. And Zohran Mamdani had already proven, against all odds, that with enough conviction, you can move mountains. His journey is far from over. This is just the beginning. It was a cloudy morning in October 2024 when Zohran Mamdani stood before a crowd in Queens. His voice was steady, but his hands trembled slightly as he made an announcement that would shake New York politics to its core. "They told us it's impossible for someone like me to win," he said. "They said that 4 years ago, and we proved them wrong. Today, we start again. I'm running to be the next mayor of New York City." The crowd exploded. Some were crying, others smiling. They knew if anyone could make the impossible happen twice, it was him. But this wasn't just any campaign. It was a battle against one of the most powerful figures in American politics, Andrew Cuomo, the former governor of New York. Cuomo's return to politics was a shock. After years in the shadows, he claimed New York needed experienced leadership. To many, it felt like an old system trying to silence a new voice. The media laughed at the matchup. Headlines read, Mamdani can't beat Cuomo. He's too young, too idealistic, too radical. But Zohran had heard those words before, and he'd already rewritten history once. He began his campaign where he always did, on the streets. No big donors, no glossy TV ads. He walked, block by block, borough by borough, shaking hands and listening to stories. He reminded people that politics didn't belong to the powerful. It belonged to them. In the Bronx, he met families paying half their salaries in rent. In Brooklyn, he spoke to bus drivers who hadn't seen a raise in 10 years. In Queens, he hugged mothers working 2 jobs who still couldn't afford childcare. His message was simple but revolutionary. We will build a city where no one is left behind, where rent doesn't break you, where transport doesn't trap you, where opportunity isn't a privilege, it's a right. He promised fare-free buses, rent freezes, and a $30 minimum wage. Critics called it impossible. He called it necessary. Soon, a movement exploded. Volunteers flooded in from every corner. Taxi drivers became campaigners. Street vendors donated snacks at rallies. Music echoed through neighborhoods as young people chanted, "From Queens to City Hall, Zohran for all." For the first time in decades, New York politics felt like a revolution. But the establishment fought back hard. Major news outlets painted him as a socialist dreamer. Talk shows mocked his age. Corporate-backed ads called him dangerous for business. Zohran didn't lose his cool. He looked straight into a camera one night and said, "If fighting for the poor makes me dangerous, then so be it. I didn't come here to make peace with injustice. I came here to end it." The clip went viral, gaining millions of views overnight. He wasn't just running for office anymore. He was speaking for an entire generation that had been told to settle for less. Everywhere he went, the crowds grew larger. Elderly immigrants brought their children to see him. College students waved homemade banners. In one powerful moment, Zohran marched side by side with striking delivery workers in the rain, holding a cardboard sign that read, "Dignity has no price." The image became the symbol of his campaign. Meanwhile, Cuomo's rallies began to shrink. His message of fear was losing power against Zohran's message of hope. As Election Day approached, the polls showed Zohran trailing by only 3 points, within striking distance. Political analysts called it the unthinkable. But just 2 weeks before the election, a misinformation campaign flooded social media, falsely accusing him of corruption and anti-police sentiment. It seemed like everything he'd built could collapse. But then, something incredible happened. The people fought back. Thousands of his supporters flooded Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram with their own stories. Videos of Zohran helping their communities, clips from his rallies, personal words from people whose lives he'd touched. The truth overpowered the lies. The wave of love drowned the hate. Election Day, November 5th, 2025. The air in New York felt electric. Lines stretched outside polling stations before sunrise. Reporters hadn't seen voter turnout like this in decades. When asked why, one woman in the Bronx said simply, "Because this time, it feels like our vote matters." All day, the numbers came in, close, tense, unpredictable. By midnight, it was too close to call. New York held its breath. Then, at 2:43 a.m., the news alert flashed across every screen. Zohran Mamdani, elected mayor of New York City. In Astoria, fireworks lit the sky. People danced in the streets, hugging strangers. The city that had once told an immigrant boy he didn't belong was now chanting his name. Zohran walked onto the stage in Queens, where it all began. His voice cracked with emotion. "I stand here tonight not as a politician, but as proof that hope can win," he said. This journey belongs to every dreamer who refused to give up. This victory isn't mine. It's yours. It's ours. The crowd roared. The city that never sleeps paused to listen. Overnight, headlines exploded. New York elects first Muslim mayor. Immigrant son defeats political dynasty. In classrooms, teachers shared his story. In small apartments across Queens, immigrant families whispered, "If he can do it, maybe my child can too." Zohran's story had become a symbol of belonging. A few weeks later, when asked how it felt to make history, Zohran smiled. "It feels heavy, because now I carry the dreams of millions. But I'm not afraid. I've been carrying them my whole life." As he walked through City Hall for the first time, the son of a scholar and a storyteller knew he was continuing their legacies, to teach, to inspire, and to reimagine what's possible. New York isn't a city of walls, he said in his first speech as mayor. It's a city of windows, and tonight we've opened them all. He didn't just win an election, he changed the story of what's possible. He proved that leadership isn't about lineage, it's about love, and that power isn't about privilege, it's about purpose. Zohran Mamdani became the voice of a generation that dared to believe in something better. The immigrant who changed New York forever. Thanks for watching. If this story inspired you, please like this video and subscribe for more content that matters.